Family history is about stories, so we're going to go around the RootsTech Expo and ask people to tell us a quick story about their ancestors.
So my great-grandma, during the Depression, she held back the divinity because her kids didn't like it, but there wasn't sugar. So she put it away. And then once all the other treats had been eaten and they were wanting a treat, then she pulled it out, so they loved it.
My grandfather, Robert James Evans, he served as a missionary in the southern states and went out without purse or script and ended up sleeping. Said he slept with Uncle Sam, which meant he was sleeping out under the trees much of the time.
One of my ancestors is my great-great-grandfather, Bob Robinson, from Edisto Island, South Carolina, in Charleston County. We are from the Gullah Geechee culture along the coast of South Carolina. And I am proud to say that I own land that my great-great-grandfather acquired right after enslavement in 1867. It's still in my family. And so that's something that I'm really proud of.
So one of my ancestors is my great-grandfather, Jack Ecoff. He was actually the general manager for Mills Music Publishing, which was the company that worked with Dizzy Gillespie, Cab Calloway, a whole bunch of large jazz artists. And I was actually able to find his obituary on the front page of Billboard magazine.
Okay, I had a grandfather who was born in New Zealand, came to America, I don't know, he was 7 or 8 years old probably. They arrived in San Francisco a few months after the big earthquake and fire, so a fairly indelible memory on his part.
Okay, my grandmother, Clemencia Stern, immigrated to the United States from Germany, and everybody said it was from Alsace, Lorraine area. They put that on her headstone. When I started doing genealogy research, I didn't know that Alsace-Lorraine was an area. Everybody thought it was a city. I found a postcard in my father's possession that said Blindschweiler on it, and across the top, she wrote my hometown. And from there, I have been able to do her genealogy on her family because of that postcard that said my hometown.
I can tell you one thing, that it was like 12 years ago that I started all this genealogy passion when I asked my father about if he had anybody out there in the States. Well, I had my grandmother's firstborn brother in his family, and her family, that went over to the States. He had to move out of New York because after having 2 kids born, he was contacted by the mafia. That's what my second cousin was telling me. I didn't even know if that's true or not. But anyway, that's the explanation that they made to have the fact that my great uncle moved over to nowhere, nobody even knows where, but it's in Worcester County, Douglas. It's like a town in the middle of nowhere, but I did get to get my own tour over there, and I even stood up on the stage where my great uncle took a picture many years ago. So that's the story. I mean, I don't even know if it's true or not, but it's kind of cool.
When the Church of Jesus Christ was new, one of the members, Parley P. Pratt, was trying to escape mobs and people who were not thrilled that he was around. And my ancestor gave him a horse, his wife's horse, and a change of clothing, and kind of helped escort him out of the area where he was able to go and be away from the mobs and people who were kind of searching to do him harm. Yep.
My husband's father was married for 24 years before he was married to my husband's mother, and my husband had no idea. He didn't learn that until I found it on doing my family history.
My second great-grandfather was Charles Borgstead, and he was a master stonemason from Sweden, and he immigrated with his wife Emma in about 1886 from Sweden to the United States, and eventually going via Nebraska and then Oregon, settled in Seattle, Washington, where he became quite a famed builder. And many of his buildings still stand today in the downtown Central Salt Lake area, and we've actually gone on a family trip to visit some of those sites to see what he built.
Oh my goodness. I have people that are basically from Appalachia, and I have one who was a moonshiner and a counterfeiter. And he counterfeited money really, really well until he was caught. And then they had to go before the judge. And before he would sentence him to take him off, the judge had him make some more money for him. And then he sent him to jail. And I thought, yep, he's mine. So